All right, hey, welcome. Dave Rosson here. Got a presentation for you. This presentation is about the number 2 inspection violation for food. It's related to seafood processing. So we're going to be covering the regulation that specifically covers Seafood HACCP, 21 CFR 123. But we're going to break it down even more specific. It's 123.11, section 123.11, paragraph B, which covers the monitoring of the 8 areas of sanitation. We call them Sanitation Control Procedures. This regulation is really designed to ensure that seafood processors are operating in a clean and safe environment. It's protecting the consumer against harmful contamination, of course. But what's interesting, in the last 16 years, this area has been a leading cause of FDA violations. In this video, I'm going to break down the key requirements of 123.11b, common mistakes companies make, and how you can avoid them. Let's get started. All right, let's get into this. Let's talk about 21 CFR section 123.11b and why it consistently ranks as the second most common violation found during FDA inspections for seafood processing facilities. Now, this is for number 2 for all facilities, but it's specific to seafood processing facilities. This section covers the Seafood HACCP regulation, as I previously mentioned, and it covers sanitation control procedures, not SSOPs. We don't technically have to have SSOPs in the seafood under the Seafood HACCP regulation. They're recommended, but SCPs are mandatory. SCPs are a critical part of ensuring seafood safety. It outlines 8 specific areas that facilities must control, and including the cleanliness of food contact surfaces, water, prevention of cross-contamination. It even covers pest control. I only did a few there. Violations under 123.11b occur when these procedures aren't properly followed or documented. Failing to comply can result in serious consequences, ranging from contamination to food products to FDA enforcement actions, such as warning letters, product recalls, or even plant closures. Why is compliance so important? Well, you got to know, seafood is especially vulnerable to contamination due to its highly perishable nature. Proper sanitation controls are key to preventing foodborne illness, protecting consumers, your consumers, the public, your customers, and maintaining your business's reputation. In this presentation, we'll explore each of the 8 areas of sanitation covered by 123.11b, and I'll show you how to avoid common pitfalls that lead to FDA violations. Stay with me now. You see, sanitation monitoring is at the heart of 123.11b, and it plays a crucial role in seafood production. This regulation requires sanitation to be monitored and managed by seafood processors and establish and maintain sanitation control procedures, ensuring that every step in the processing environment, from the boat to the throat, from the tide to the tongue, from the water safety to the pest control, is monitored consistently. Why is it so important? It's about food safety. Seafood, by its nature, is highly perishable and prone to contamination. Without proper sanitation controls, harmful bacteria, viruses, and even toxins can find their way into or develop in products and pose serious health consequences or risks to public. So we want to make sure, by regularly monitoring and documenting sanitation control procedures, processors, you, can catch potential issues early before they become larger problems. This regulation isn't just about compliance. It's about protecting your consumers, your brand, and ultimately the health of the public. It's pretty amazing to me, for the past 16 years, violation of 21 CFR 123.11b have been ranked at number 2. Number 2. The regulation on sanitation control procedures have been one of the most consistent compliance issues under FDA inspections. Why? Seafood processors struggle with maintaining effective sanitation, whether it's due to lack of training, inadequate monitoring, or poor documentation. The impact on food safety is significant, though. When sanitation aren't properly followed or is not managed, harmful contaminants such as bacteria like Listeria, Salmonella can enter the food production chain, increasing the risk for foodborne illness. This directly affects consumers, putting public health at risk. For businesses like yourself, These violations can lead to severe consequences. The FDA has issued numerous warning letters, product recalls, and in some cases shut down operations until issues are resolved. The financial and reputational damage from these enforcement actions can be devastating, especially for smaller operations. The FDA's consistent focus on this regulation underscores how critical sanitation is to seafood safety. By understanding and properly implementing 123.11b, businesses can avoid these costly mistakes and protect both their consumer and their bottom line. Under 123.11b, seafood companies are required to monitor sanitation conditions to ensure their operation meet FDA standards for cleanliness and safety. This isn't just about avoiding violations. It's about demonstrating to the FDA that you're actively managing your good manufacturing practices, or GMPs. These are brought in earlier in the regulation to Title 21, 123 regulation. Section 123.5 tells us that we're subject to 117. But then as we make our way through the regulation, 123.11 mandates that we manage these 8 areas to then show that we're in compliance with our GMPs. By consistently monitoring your sanitation conditions, you're showing the FDA you're managing, control, and maintaining control over key areas of your processing environment. Whether ensuring equipment is clean, water that is used in production is safe, or employees are following hygiene protocols. You're going to monitor these areas, and you're going to show the FDA that you are managing them, and it'll give them confidence that food safety risks are minimized. The ongoing monitoring must be documented and available for review. It's a crucial part of a HACCP system and proves that you're not just reacting to issues, but proactively managing them to protect both your consumers and your business. By monitoring the 8 key sanitation areas outlined in 123.11b, seafood processors can also demonstrate compliance with 21 CFR 117 subpart B, which covers the good manufacturing practices. Let's break this down into how these areas align with broader GMP requirements. Number 1 is safety of water used in processing. Ensures that the water is safe and sanitary, supporting GMPs related to water supply controls. Number 2 covers the condition and cleanliness of food contact surfaces. Directly ties into GMPs requiring clean and sanitized equipment and utensils. Number 3, prevention of cross-contamination. Helps meet GMP requirements for preventing contamination between raw and ready-to-eat products, and more. Number 4, maintenance of hand washing and hand sanitizing and toilet. Supports GMPs that emphasize employee hygiene and proper facility maintenance. Number 5, I like to call it the catch-all, protection from adulteration. Connects the GMPs to focus on preventing contamination of food from biological, chemical, and physical agents, which is everything. Number 6, labeling and storage of toxic chemicals and compounds, and of course, point of use policies. Ensures compliance with GMPs on managing and controlling hazardous materials. Number 7, we're worried about employee health and hygiene. It addresses specific GMPs that require monitoring of employee illness or injury that could contaminate food. And number 8, exclusion of pests. Helps fulfill GMP requirements for effective pest control. By consistently monitoring these 8 areas, documenting the monitoring of these 8 areas, you're not only meeting the Seafood HACCP requirements, but also showing the FDA that your facility is meeting the requirements of 21 CFR 117 subpart B. All right, I know that was a lot, but let me break it down one more time real short here. As a quick reminder, the purpose of the sanitation monitoring in seafood is not just about maintaining cleanliness, which it is about that, but it's also about demonstrating compliance with both 21 CFR 12311B and the broader 21 CFR 117 subpart B. And those requirements, we call those good manufacturing practices. When it comes to FDA inspections, the number 2 most frequent violation observed across all food facilities, not just seafood processors, has to do with inadequate sanitation control procedures. And yes, you could say something's definitely fishy here. Whether it's failure to properly clean food contact surfaces, prevent cross-contamination, or maintain employee hygiene, these sanitation lapses are a major red flag for FDA inspectors. They indicate that the facility is not properly managed and they're not managing key risk areas that can lead to food contamination and put public health at risk. The FDA expects to see food companies to monitor these conditions regularly, document their findings, and take corrective actions whenever needed. By staying on top of these sanitation controls, you can avoid being one of the many facilities cited for this common violation. Some of the most common reasons companies get cited for sanitation violations include, but are not limited to, lack of record keeping for sanitation controls. If you're not documenting your sanitation practices, the FDA says you're not doing them. Okay? So make sure you have documents. Number 2, inadequate water safety practices or hand washing facilities. Clean, safe water and proper hand washing stations are essential for preventing contamination. If these aren't available or maintained, it signals serious gaps in your sanitation program. And number 3, cross-contamination risk due to improper handling, storage, and mixing raw, ready-to-eat products or using dirty equipment between processes creates major cross-contamination risk. These again are red flags for inspectors that are among the top reasons for violations. Ensuring proper sanitation controls, consistently maintaining documentation is essential to staying compliant and protecting the public. So what's the cause of these things? What are major contributing factors here? So let's take a look. Number 1, we're thinking lack of training. Lack of training. Employees are not fully understanding the importance of sanitation procedures or how to implement them correctly. We have to spend time training and teaching. As leaders, it's important we spend time training and teaching. That also helps us learn. Take a look at the learning pyramid. Gets into that in more detail. So then just inconsistent monitoring because we're busy. Okay, we got to make time for this. Without regular checks, small issues can quickly become big violation. Gaps in monitoring can result in cross-contamination, risk of inadequate cleaning practices. The list goes on and on. Failure to update sanitation programs. As operations sometimes evolve, companies sometimes neglect to update their sanitation plans, leading to outdated procedures that can and don't meet FDA standards. Number 4, inadequate record keeping. Even if proper sanitation practices are in place, failing to document them properly can result in compliance issues, as the FDA relies on records to verify that your controls are being followed. Addressing these challenges requires expert guidance. This is where I come in. With my expertise in Seafood HACCP, FDA regulations, GMPs, I can help your business develop and maintain strong sanitation control procedures, train your staff, ensure your facility is fully compliant with FDA standards. If you're serious about avoiding costly violations and protecting your brand, consider partnering with me, David L.A. Rosson, for a personalized consultation and training to strengthen your food safety program. Let's work together to safeguard your business and ensure you're always ready. Ready for what? Inspection ready. So when sanitation controls are not properly followed, the consequences can be severe. Let's break it down into 3 key areas. Regulatory action by the FDA, impact on businesses, and food safety risk. First, regulatory actions by the FDA. If violations are found, the FDA can issue warning letters, place companies on import alerts, or take enforcement action that require immediate corrections. These actions can escalate quickly, especially if problems are not addressed. The ultimate consequence could be your business facing legal challenges or forced to stop production entirely. Next, the impact on businesses. Regulatory actions often lead to serious financial and operational consequences. Product recalls are common, which are costly and can lead to loss of consumer trust. In severe cases, facilities can be shut down until the violations are corrected. This type of disruption doesn't just affect the bottom line, it can cause long-term reputational damage that may be difficult to recover from. Finally, the most critical aspect, food safety risk. When sanitation practices fail, the risk of foodborne illness increases dramatically. Contaminated food can make their way into the food supply, causing harm to consumers. This has long-term public health implications, especially for vulnerable populations like children, the elderly, and those with compromised immune systems. These consequences highlight why it's crucial to maintain compliance with FDA regulations. Proper sanitation controls don't just protect your business, they protect the health and safety of the public. To avoid FDA citations under 12311B, companies need to focus on implementing effective sanitation control procedures, creating monitoring programs. Let's walk through some of the key steps to ensure compliance and protect your business from violations. First, implementing an effective sanitation monitoring program is essential. You should have clear, detailed procedures in place that outline how to monitor and document sanitation and sanitation conditions regularly. This includes frequent checks on water safety, food contact surfaces, employee hygiene. Documentation is critical because it provides proof to the FDA that you're consistently managing sanitation practices. Next is employee training. One of the most common reasons for violation is that employees either aren't aware of proper sanitation procedures or don't follow them consistently. Regular, up-to-date training is key to ensuring everyone understands their role in maintaining food safety. Training should cover everything from hand washing protocol to cross-contamination prevention, and it should be revisited frequently. Equally important is record keeping and verification. Keep detailed, accurate records of all sanitation activities, including what was done, when it was done, and by whom. These records serve as your first line of defense in demonstrating compliance. Also, conducting regular audits of your sanitation procedures ensures everything is running smoothly and any gaps are identified and corrected quickly. Lastly, consider utilizing technology for monitoring. There are several innovations in sanitation monitoring, such as automated sensors and digital record-keeping platforms that can help maintain consistent compliance. These technologies not only make the process more efficient, but also provide real-time data, which helps ensure no steps are missed. By following these best practices, you can, by effectively monitoring programs, proper training, thorough record keeping, and utilizing technology, you can prevent citations, keep your operation running smoothly, and maintain the highest standards of food safety. Excuse my little slowdown there. Well, just another one for you. I hope it was helpful. Let's recap the importance of compliance with 21 CFR 12311B 1 through 8. Ensuring that your sanitation monitoring programs are effective and well documented isn't just about avoiding citations. It's about protecting the consumer, your consumer, and the long-term success of your business. The key takeaways from today's discussion are simple but critical. We've covered why sanitation controls are the number 2 most common violation in food facilities, and more importantly, how you can prevent this violation by implementing strong sanitation procedures, conducting regular employee training, and maintaining thorough record keeping. I encourage all seafood businesses to take proactive steps toward better sanitation monitoring. Don't wait for an FDA inspection to find gaps in your processes. Start improving your practices today and avoid costly violations, product recalls, and reputational damage. Lastly, if you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content on food safety, regulatory compliance, and best practices for the seafood industry. Stay informed, stay compliant, and protect your business. Dave Rosson.